Hello and welcome our dear viewers to another episode of your show, Hobbies Catalog. For today's episode, our hobby will be photography. And our guest, Mr. Faisal, he will tell us everything we need to know about his hobby and his journey. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Welcome back, our dear viewers. Right now, I have with me Mr. Faisal Al-Nubi. How are you, Mr. Faisal?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, all good. Mr. Faisal, I'm really glad to have you here with us.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. As soon as I heard that we have a photographer for today, I was so happy because I have a lot of questions for you, being a photographer, because personally, I've been trying to practice in my photography skills, trying to improve it, but I didn't know how to improve it, so that's all. I have lots of questions for you.
I'll be happy to help out with them as
Thank
much
you.
as I can.
Thank you. I hope you're ready.
Hopefully.
Mr. Faisal, you're practicing your photographer. You're a photographer.
Yes.
You've been practicing your hobby for how many years?
About a little over 6 to 7 years now.
Six?
About 6 to 7 years.
6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Mr. Faisal, can you tell us the places that you take photos for? Is it like the city, restaurants, or something special that you found in the city, or it's natural stuff?
It's a little bit of everything. I started off with nature, pretty much natural landscapes, deserts, beaches, gardens, forests, and that's later on developed into like restaurants and cities.
Yeah, and the natural things, it's actually the most beautiful things.
Yeah.
Because whenever I see photographers and I see their photos for the amazing, great landscapes, the green, I say to myself, okay, I want to visit that place as soon as possible.
It's the mix of colors that attract a lot of people.
It is beautiful, it is. And do you have a story behind your first camera?
My first camera was one of those very ancient antique cameras that have like the film where you have to be in a dark room just to develop the pictures. So yeah, that used to be like thinking of how technology advanced now. It makes it much more easier with today's cameras.
Of course,
compared to
also
that.
with the drones.
Exactly, especially with the drones.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait in a dark room anymore to just develop your pictures.
All what you do is wear the headsets for the drones. I think that you wear it on your eyes.
Those are specific kind of drones. Those are for like action scenes, or if you want to be like first person in the drone, that's when you're gonna need the goggles. But you could pretty much do it off of like a TV or a small monitor or your phone or an iPad. Works all kinds of ways.
And of course, when you started with the old or ancient types of cameras, but you didn't start it at that time because you're younger.
I was pretty much young, yeah.
And
I like to mess around with them sometimes.
Yeah, you wanted to play a little bit with the antique cameras. Try to see how it started, and then you try to like see the improvement that it gets.
Yes.
By the time goes. And Mr. Faisal, you started since 17 or 16, right?
A little before that, I think around 2014, 15 maybe.
Okay. So that makes it 8 to 9 years.
Almost, yeah. It was when I started
You lose the track of time.
Exactly. When I started off, it was not even a hobby. It's just like something I was interested in, but at the same time, I wasn't devoted to it. So most of the time when I just grab a camera and start taking pictures, I had no idea what I was doing. Like
What you do with the camera?
Pictures turned out blurry. I had no idea how to manage settings on the camera.
You didn't know?
I didn't understand what I was doing. All I knew is this button took photos. That's it. And I pray to God, hopefully the photos would turn out nice. But sometimes they turn out blurry, sometimes they'd be out of focus.
Yeah, that's okay because you didn't know about it. You didn't know how to control it.
Yeah.
And after a while, right now,
After a while, I started learning that this button means to do this, and this one controls shutter and ISO, and I started understanding photography terms and how they all go together in order to create like the perfect photo that you like.
okay, do you take photos for people? Like if I ask you to take some photos
Of
for me.
course, like usually friends and family would come to me, take a picture of me. Oh, you have your camera? Could you please take a picture of me? I'll be like, sure, why not? But not professionally though.
No. You don't need to be a professional. Actually, all we need is the passion, like, and a beautiful sense.
Yeah, that's
A
more
beautiful sense and beautiful eyes. Like, okay, I think that frame or that place is going to be amazing for that photos, and you go and take it.
Exactly.
And Mr. Faisal, you had your difficulties with your hobby, right?
Of course, a lot of difficulties.
Can you name one?
One was walking around with a camera in public, because we're very restrictive here in Kuwait when it comes to like taking pictures in public. You have people walking around and they see you with a camera, they're automatically going to assume that you might take pictures of them.
You automatically take the defensive instinct. With
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Oh,
so,
did you take photos? Oh, don't take photos. And
yeah,
immediately they do like
I've had a
this.
few encounters like that, but along with the knowledge of photography and understanding my camera, I started to learn like how a photographer moves in public and in private, like depending on events or public places. There are certain behaviors that a photographer follows in order to be well in public.
The behaviors actually, I think it becomes different between country and another country.
Yeah.
Because here in Kuwait, we have a traditional culture. We have a lots of people that they actually sometimes they become afraid.
True.
But it's way more different now than like 2015 and 14.
Correct. Yeah, it's
At
more
that-
accepting.
It's way more accepted because a lot of people at that time they didn't allow for a guy to walk around with a camera. They sometimes
not like today.
Yeah.
Not like today.
Not like today. And for today, Mr. Faisal, do you think that your skills have been improved?
A lot. Like in that long period of time, you could develop into something completely different from when you first picked up a camera. Like the sense that you learn from holding a camera, you can apply that same sense when you're taking a picture with your phone, for example. Like even my phone photography skills changed thanks to the camera.
And Mr. Faisal, you've been, do you sell the photos that you take?
Mostly, yeah.
Do you like some too many other people? They say no. Okay, I practice it as a hobby, 100% hobby, and they have photos. They keep it for themselves. They said, okay, I don't like to other people see it. Maybe they only use it for their social media accounts.
True.
But you, like, do you maybe contract with other companies or like other entities to sell your photos for them?
It depends. For example, like on certain events, they hire me as a freelancer. I go and market out my skills to them.
You do that?
If they're looking for photographers, for example, advertisements, product photography, sports
Advertisement, do you do that?
I do that sometimes.
Advertisement, that's a good thing. Remarkable, actually, because Mr. Faisal, I was asking actually only about the photos. Like maybe to other people, they say, okay, can I take your photo maybe to sell them to like at the old time, magazines or something?
Oh no, I have never had any of those offers, but hopefully one offer might come up soon. Hopefully.
Well, actually, I found that you do something way more better, because which is they hire you to for the events, and for their own events and occasions, and maybe they trying to use a guy with a good eyes as a photographer, because for the photography, all what you need is not only the passion, it's actually way more a good eye.
Exactly.
A good eye.
More understanding, more professionalism when it comes to the art of photography.
I'm blind with taking the photos. Definitely.
Hopefully with a
Mr.
little
Faisal,
bit of guidance.
I'm blind. When I try to take photos, I swear to God, if there is a plate of food that I cooked, okay, because I'm also practicing cooking, and the plate of food I'm trying to take photos for. Okay, how hard it can be? It's a plate of food. Okay, I organized it. It was good, but when I take photos, I don't know what happened.
I've had that same issue sometimes at restaurants, and especially when I took up cooking some time ago. Your main issue is going to be facing a lighting issue. No matter where you look at it from, if you try to find a nice angle, you always find like a sort of your own shadow falling on top of the picture, which kind of ruins the whole shot. So if you know how to set up your lighting, no matter what angle you take, your picture is going to turn out perfect.
Thank you for the tip.
That's one major thing a lot of people misunderstand sometimes.
And thank you for telling us, for.
No problem.
And Mr. Faisal, how many times you use your hobby? Or how many times, not use, you practice your hobby a day? Or a week?
Almost.
Like take your cameras and you say to yourself, okay, I'm taking the camera, I'm going outside, it's a good weather, I'm going to take photos for the buildings. And
It depends. Sometimes I don't have my camera all the time with me, but with the advance in iPhones and Samsungs,
it's okay.
for the advance in technology, you can pretty much take pictures on your phone. So I don't have to rely on my camera to be with me all the time. So I guess you could say on a daily basis, I kind of practice my photography skills on a daily basis.
And what about the family support? Your family supports you, but who's your biggest supporter?
First, starting off, when I started to get involved in a lot of photography sessions, all of my family members were skeptic at first. But
Why?
They felt like it was a hobby, it wouldn't develop into anything much.
Waste of time.
Waste of time.
For the sessions, it's waste of money.
Exactly, like you have other things to focus on.
What about now?
But-
What do you tell them?
Right now, it's gotten a lot better. I think I might have changed a couple of minds in the family. Like I have a brother and a sister who are like into photography now. My mother has been my greatest supporter in this.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks to Faisal's mom for all the support. And you told me that your brother and sister, they become into photography.
Into photography. They
Who inspired them?
I guess
You?
when I take pictures of them, they start to see themselves as like models, but it kind of interested them to be behind the camera. So,
Because they noticed that it wasn't about them, it was about the guy behind the camera.
exactly.
That guy can make you look good and can make you feel and also look
exactly.
not good. I'm not gonna say anything else. And you had your difficulties. You told me before the interview that you had your difficulties for the drones.
Oh yeah,
Did you buy your drone
of course.
for photography, right?
Both, mostly videography and photography, because I recently got into the trend of videography. It starts off as a habit like photography, and eventually you develop skills with time. The more you understand something, you get into it more.
But why? Why did you buy the drone? Why you couldn't like only maybe stick with the cameras? It was better because the drone sometimes it becomes more difficult.
No.
And for too many places, it's actually restricted places not to use the drone for.
True. There are certain angles that it's impossible for you to get without a drone. If you want aerial photography, if you want, say for example, a video or a photograph of a tall building, you want it from a sky perspective. So that's where the drone comes in. I started off in about 2013 or 2014.
For the drones?
With drones.
At the time, no one knows about it.
At the time, it wasn't well known compared to today.
Definitely,
anybody
because
can go
today
out and buy a
lots
drone
of people know it.
Yeah, a lot of people have issues today with drones because there were a group of people that misuse it. So that kind of ruins it all for everybody else who's
In my
actually
house,
trying to do something about
that's
it.
a good thing. Thank you, Faisal, for all the information that you gave us. It was really interesting.
It's been a pleasure.
Inshallah, someday we're gonna take some photos together, me and you.
Inshallah.
And you're gonna teach me
Inshallah.
how.
Oh, most definitely. I'd love to help.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Faisal. And thank you, our dear viewers, for watching this episode. Hope you liked it and enjoyed it. And see you in our next episodes.